good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. The Rockets have defeated the New Orleans Pelicans 126-112 in a blowout. And this game is just adding on to that win streak. The Rockets are now on a 5-game winning streak and now advanced to 9-9, and they're moving up in the standings. A lot of positive energy, a lot of joy on the team, and some top scorers of the game were Wood and Oladipo. Wood only played 27 minutes. That's how big of a blowout this was. The Wood played 27 minutes and scored 27 points, had 9 rebounds, no assists though, but that's okay. And he was 11 from 13 from the field and 3 of 4 from three-point land, and 20 and his plus and minus was positive 23. That's how much of an impact Christian Wood is having on the game. He's definitely an all-star ballot, and it's not even biased at this point. Like, he definitely deserves to be on the all-star roster. And also Victor Oladipo, 25 minutes, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, solid stat line, more than solid actually. And he was 50% from the field, 4 of 8 from three-point range. That those back-to-back threes at the end of the second quarter were really deflating for the Pelicans. They just couldn't come back after that, and it just snowballed from there. And just what a game from us. The wow factor was really good into play. And at the beginning of the first quarter, like, we started off really slow. The Pelicans were on I believe a 14-2 at the beginning of the first quarter, but then we really picked up the intensity as per usual. And that's just how the Rockets games goes. We come out the gate really slow, but we pick it up, and it just goes from there. And one of the things that I really noticed is that Jae'Sean Tate, man. Jae'Sean Tate is slowly getting really, really good. And it's once he develops that three-point shot, he was 1 of 2 from three-point land, but he's developed so much more better as a ball handler. And he just that defensive stop he had on Zion, and getting that defensive rebound and Euro stepping onto Zion is just so crazy how this dude went undrafted. And so that was the one thing that popped out to me.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there with Jae'Sean Tate. The man is literally Draymond Green 2.0 for the Rockets. He's a defensive leader, right? I like the fact that he's starting, but I feel like eventually Daniel House will get into the starting lineup and be the small forward, and we'll have Jae'Sean Tate play backup power forward. He's just a leader, man, for our bench. Like, everyone needs a player like him, just someone who hustles, even if they're not having a good game, which he had a great game today, by the way. But if they're not having a good game on one end of the floor, they will do their absolute hardest. They'll try whatever and do whatever they can to make sure that they can affect the game in some way, shape, or form. Okay, and one more thing, we've got to talk about the last factor of the wow effect. Shout out to Vernon Maxwell for that name, by the way. John Wall had 15 points and 9 assists. It's good to see him get 9 assists. That's around what he typically averages for his career. Now, about 15 games this season, he's finally getting that chemistry back together. And he only played 26 minutes anyways. He would have had a double-double if this was a close game. So, yeah, 15 points, 9 assists, shot 41% from the field, and 4 from 6 from the three-point line. John Wall, man, he's really developed his shot, really developed his three-point shot this game. Something that I definitely like seeing, something that we couldn't exactly see last year from Westbrook. But yeah, if he can keep this up, I don't want him to be like Steph Curry, but if he can just be solid so that the defenders have to keep an eye on him, right? Mm-hmm. New Orleans, they didn't think he could do that, so they backed off and he made them pay.
Yeah, and John Wall said himself when he was recovering from that from his injury, his Achilles injury, he said he really worked on his three-point shot, and I think that's the reason why he's shooting so much better from three-point land, especially this year compared to previous years. And also Oladipo and Wall are really feeding Wood really well. I mean, the passes and the half-court passes, things like that, they're just such a deadly backcourt combo. It's unexplainable how good they are, and the ball movement is so exquisite, and Silas is really running this offense to a T, if I had to say it in a concise way. But Silas said himself, he's a win now coach. Silas will not let this team lose games, no matter how many people think that the Rockets are tanking after trading a generational talent in James Harden. This team somehow got better after trading James Harden, and that some of it comes to chemistry that plays in a role. James Harden didn't really want to be here after the few games, but man, this team is going to be deadly. No one wants to see this team in the playoffs. And I just want to talk about how we're shooting way more mid-ranges in the Silas era than the Mike D'Antoni era. And now that we're more diversified, we're much more tougher to guard. And some of the different shot selection is also due to the kind of personnel that we have. And it's pretty nice to see that from Silas.
Yeah, I gotta agree. We have been taking a lot more mid-range shots. Well, not a lot more, but we've just gotten to where our players can take them. See, John Wall is a really good mid-range shooter. Same with Victor Oladipo. Both of them played it, and that really diversifies our offense. You see, with the Mike D'Antoni system, a lot of the times the mid-range shot was just gone. He would tell you take a step back and shoot the three, right? But in times like in the playoffs, the other teams like the Lakers did, they were able to zone in and they were able to play the passing lanes perfectly because they knew that the Rockets would not go for any mid-range shots. They would only go for threes, and it really hurt us in the end. But with Steven Silas being like, hey, if you want to take a mid-range, take a mid-range. It's all up to you. And diversifying the offense like that, it definitely gives us more firepower on in that end, right?
And the defense has been really good. Obviously, we said it was the first string defense, and they showed it this time. They held Brandon Ingram to 15 points, 5 of 50 from the field, 2 of 7 from three. And the first quarter, I'll admit, was really sloppy. We were getting turnovers, but we were instantly giving the ball away. And so I like to see that. I like that adjustments that Silas and the whole coaching staff have made in the second quarter, and they cleaned it up. And so that was really good to see. Like finally nice to see a coach making adjustments, right? So yeah, and then let's talk about Boogie because he was good as a starter when he was playing for in place of Wood when Wood was injured, but now as a bench player, he wasn't too hot. I mean, let's see, he was 0 from 2 from the field, and he took 2 3-pointers. And I don't know, like I think Boogie likes being on the starting team. I mean, I think he likes that he plays with Wall if he was a starter, but now on that second bench unit, I don't know, not so much.
I wouldn't read into it like that too much. I mean, this was his like what second game of like being a bench player after being a starter for the few games. He only took 2 shots. He didn't really do much. He was more of like just passing the ball around and doing like the other stuff, getting rebounds and stuff. But it was just like one mediocre game. I wouldn't look too much into it. Definitely, though,
Yeah.
I do understand your point about him and Wall playing together, having that that Kentucky connection with them. But everyone has on and off games. He only played 13 minutes, 14 minutes. So what are you going to do, really?
Yeah. And Eric Gordon, I mean, he have some off shooting nights. He was only I mean, he was okay this game actually. He was 4 of 9, but I feel like when Eric Gordon's shot isn't falling, he just kind of tends to chuck up another three instead of going to his bread and butter, which is driving to the basket. EG is so good at that. I mean, there was a play where he cut through 3 defenders and made a tough layup, and he just straight off bounces off of people. He's very good, and so even in the playoffs, Gordon would move away from what he's good at, and he just tends to like shoot threes more when it's not falling. So I wish Gordon would go towards that more. Yeah.
I gotta just say the same thing about it wasn't that good of a game. And Eric Gordon, he wants to make sure that he's consistent. So yeah, he's missing some shots. He just doesn't want to let that affect him. He's a shooter, and you know the phrase "shoot or shoot." You got to shoot your way out of a slump. That's all Gordon was trying to do. Yeah, it could have been better. I feel like he would have had like made smarter choices if the game was closer. Going to the basket, but it was a 20-point game, and it was most of his like random shots that he just chucked up were in the fourth quarter. We were up by 20 with like 5-6 minutes left. He didn't really care too much. He just wanted to get a shot under his wings.
Yeah, I definitely believe in Gordon. I mean, I drafted him in fantasy, so but yeah, but I just have some questions that we should ask. Like, should the Rockets consider extending Oladipo? I mean, dude is really clutch. So, and the upcoming schedule, there's a lot of easily winnable games for the Rockets at the kind of play style that we're going at.
We have time. The contract extension deadline isn't until even after the trade deadline, so we have definitely some time. And I definitely would, if I was the Rockets, bring back Oladipo at least on like a 3-year extension. But knowing that he's probably going to want the max. And you know what? He's only, 28? So honestly, I'd give it to him. The Rockets are at a point where, since we have Brooklyn's picks, we can still be competitive and just let Brooklyn be in charge of our draft picks. And that's really all that matters for us. We can still be a competitive team and still get lottery picks if like the trio breaks up in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so conflicted because like if we do like this team, like there's a lot of like options that we can go from here because I mean Oladipo is like if we're looking at it from an objective standpoint, he's really building his value, and so teams would love to play like a Eastern Conference team. Now that Harden's in the Eastern Conference, they would probably pay more than they would for Oladipo. So I mean I could see that happening, but I would hate to see Oladipo go, man. Like I know I'm trying to tell myself to stop falling in love with Oladipo, but it's so hard not to. I mean, dude, it's just so fun to watch.
He plays so well on both the offensive and defensive part of the floor. He's just amazing as a two-way player. And I know a team like Miami would love to get him. They'd be willing to give up Hero, Nunn, and probably some Olynyk or Iggy to make um the money work, but and maybe some picks also. But man, I don't want to see Oladipo go either. I'm with you on that. But if he goes, he goes. I just gotta give your trust to Raphael Stone. He's made like all great decisions since he's become the Rocket general manager, and I have faith he's gonna just keep making more.
Yeah, I mean, Oladipo has really instilled that kind of hustle mindset. I mean, he's running after every single like loose ball, like things that you would assume that would just go out of bounds. He's getting that. He's like running constantly every time I see him on the field. And speaking of hustle, I mean, PJ Tucker, he's obviously, we all know him as the definition of hustle, but PJ Tucker isn't as dominant on defense like he used to. I mean, Zion was straight up bodying him, but like I know Zion kind of does that to everyone. So what's your kind of take on PJ, because his Florida game is also underrated. I mean, he should like look into that too. But I don't know, like should like John Wall also had some words about keeping PJ. So what do you think about that?
Honestly, I feel like PJ, he wants to win a championship, and honestly, no one wants to see him win a championship more than I do. He's done so much for the Rockets since 2017 when we got him. So much on the defensive side. Last year he's had to put his whole heart out there guarding all the centers. So, man, I want to see him win, but at the same time, this is the perfect team for him. He's finally in a system where he's not the only one hustling everywhere. With this system and the chemistry that we built, the Rockets, everyone has to hustle. Everyone has to play defense, or Silas will take you out of the game. He's not afraid to do that. And this is like the perfect coach for PJ. So I don't know if the Rockets are championship caliber team and PJ's only getting up there in age, but this is literally the perfect lineup, perfect like mentality that the Rockets have built around him. But if he does get traded, I would like to see him get traded to win a championship. He does deserve that very much.
Yeah, it looks like Raphael Stone has a lot on his plate considering the players. And yeah, I mean that it's just it's also cool to see like the kind of value that Silas has had on the Mavericks. I mean, the Mavericks are on a 4-game losing streak, and so it's pretty crazy like how much Silas meant to the Mavs and how much good. I mean, sorry, like how much better the Rockets are playing with Silas coaching them up. It's just so nice to see.
I always love Silas. I love the pickup originally. I honestly thought Harden would be like super into it, but he really doubted Silas being a rookie coach and all that. He doubted Raphael Stone for being a rookie general manager. But, he made a mistake. Actually, no, I'm glad. Honestly, I've gotten to the point. I'm glad he's gone. I love this Rockets team and the mentality, what was the word? Hustle and effort. That's what they were saying on there. The effort that this team plays with. It's just something that we haven't seen as Rockets fans in such a long time.
Yeah, but I think Silas credits him getting the actual Rockets job to Harden and Russ. Like he always credits them like I wouldn't be here if without them. So I think Harden, maybe he was just doing whatever was best for the team in general and just like I'm out of there. But who knows? But yeah, this new team is very, very, very fun to watch. And that's pretty much all that I have. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, our next game is against OKC. Should be another easy win for us because they are actually OKC does play hard. They're usually a competitive team, but they don't exactly have the best roster. Hopefully we can extend this win streak to 6. And what seed are we right now? I gotta check that. I believe we're the 9th seed or 8th seed. We're at 500 right now at 9-9. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. I definitely see the Rockets finishing as a mid to low playoff team. Like seed, yeah. So definitely.
I think if they can keep this up, they could like end up as a 5th seed for sure. I feel like it is possible. I mean, it is like one of those lower seeds, but that would be really interesting, and we would play the 4th seed in that scenario, so that would be cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Let us know what your thoughts are on this game, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.